Today we're going to talk about my philosophy of the 3 parts of a pickleball point. This is basically how any normal pickleball point plays out. So let's get started. The first part of the pickleball point is simple, the serve and the return. Generally, you want to keep your serve and your return deep, like in the back third of the court. This makes it more difficult for your opponents to get to the kitchen. The returning team is going to think return and run, so they're going to hit their return and run up to the kitchen, trying to get set with their partner, creating a wall of 2 players at the kitchen, while the serving team is back near the baseline waiting for the return to bounce. For this reason, this is why the serving team has such a hard time to win a point in pickleball, because they generally get stuck near the baseline while the returning team has basically free access to the kitchen. Once we get here, the second part of the pickleball point happens, where the serving team is now trying to work their way up to the kitchen while the returning team tries to keep them back. Real quick, I want to talk about this area called transition. This is the area from the baseline to the kitchen. We don't call this no man's land. You might hear some newer players say no man's land, but we don't want to think about it as no man's land, because this is an area where it's perfectly okay to be standing as you're transitioning from the baseline to the kitchen, which typically happens as the serving team. The serving team will use 3 types of shots to work their way to the kitchen: drop shots, drives, and lobs. Generally, you're going to see people using drops and drives the most. However, I think the lob is one of the most underused shot in pickleball, but it is quite difficult and there's harsh side effects when it goes bad, so people don't normally practice it. Once the serving team works their way to the kitchen effectively, all 4 players are at the kitchen, and this is where the third part of the pickleball point happens, where you're going to use your soft game and try to give your opponents nothing to attack, while also trying to create little bits of pressure here and there and making your opponents hit slightly uncomfortable balls, causing them to pop up the ball to you or your partner more often so that you can reach in and slap the ball and finish the point. So there you have it. There's my philosophy of the 3 parts of a pickleball point. Again, this is how a normal point tends to play out. And knowing this, understanding this, is going to help you know what you need to practice the most when it comes to your drilling and your practice time. So if you notice yourself having trouble getting the serve and the return in, you know you need to work on the first part of the pickleball point, and there's good drills for that. If you're having trouble getting to the kitchen as the serving team, well, there's good drills for that. You can have 1 up at the kitchen and 1 back near the baseline, working your way up to the kitchen. So that's it for today, and I hope you learned some about the basic strategy of pickleball. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. As we watch the rest of this healthy pickleball point play out, if you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications if you want to be one of the first to know when I post a new one. If you want to support me even further, you can head on over to my store at www.calvinkeeney.com/shop. Thanks for watching and have a great day.